Right. I'm extremely happy to be here. I'm a big fan of Star Trek since you guys came on here in the 60s. My question is, what was it like to be working on set with such a wonderful cast of Star Trek?
This is certainly the making of film, among other things, but we know that is a gregarious activity. You cannot do it alone at all. And the fact that in each case, in this tradition of Star Trek, it seems to me that the folks, the creators, the visionaries, et al., have been very, very careful and thoughtful about assembling a set of people, both before and behind the camera, who know what they're doing and who care about what their craft means, and more importantly, care about each other as human beings, because you can't work that long, for that many years, that many hours, without caring about who's next to you, and making sure, thus, that you give as much as you could.
Listen, we came in very quickly on the heels of Voyager, and we were quickly handed their crew, who are legendary in the business. And I was astounded by the quality of the craftsmanship and the amount of technology and the cutting edgeness of that environment was wonderful. And we kind of fit in to kind of a well-oiled machine because of where we fell in happily. And the good news was we had, again, echoing Avery, a lovely group of actors for me to play off of and with, and I felt like we improved, because it is a learning experience as you go along each episode, each year. And but it was completely beautifully supported by some of the most creative minds that exist in television, and groundbreaking visionaries that, you know, the Westmore whole, Michael Westmore, and the years that he put into it, from the makeup and that end of it, and the camera people, and always on the cutting edge of, well, we're going to do this, we're going to switch to HD. We flipped to HD before everybody was even doing it, and trying to, pushing the boundaries there. All of our effects people, everybody was just first rate. So we were, honored to be in that group. But that was something that was just cultivated over the years that we got handed, and we were very fortunate, and we had, I felt very blessed to have such a good bunch of actors around me all the time. And all of we can't ever forget the supporting cast that come on and put on the heads and the tails and the hours before we would ever get there. I'm always bumping into people. Don't you remember me? I was the third Klingon from the right, and we were on trial, and the ice planet, and the thing. And no, I had never saw your face. Are you kidding me? But those people also are huge, as you all know, are a huge part of the fabric of, and they were who we worked with. They were, it wasn't just the people on the ship, it was the people the guests who came on that supported the dream and the vision. And that was, I have so many wonderful memories about all those people also. Now you.
Well, I particularly loved George Takei. The truth of the matter is that I loved a lot of the people there, but I got really fond of Leonard Nimoy. He became a real friend, a brother, loved him. Made a great friend out of that, and And from that point of view, the relationships that were cemented by the many hours that we spent together is a very definite aspect of shooting a series like that.
Thank you very much, and for a great franchise.
I think we only have time for like 2 more questions.
Avery Brooks. I was wondering, from the Deep Space Nine, did you like baseball as much as you did in Star Trek?
I came to love it after Michael Piller said, Cisco loves baseball.
Hello?
Hello?
I, like many of everybody here else here, have grown up with Star Trek and have found it very influential in my life. Each one of you represent a stage of my life as a role model in a way as much as my father, my grandfather, and everybody else. And now I'm submitting going for my doctorate. So, I mean, that's kind of, science and but as a fan, do I look to you and put too much to you as a custodian of Star Trek, since I think Star Trek is what was best when it was on TV. I like the new movie and the next movie that's going to come out, but to me, Star Trek was best when it was on TV, and you had such an interpersonal reaction and interaction with one another. And now that it's not on TV anymore, you are now the custodians for what we look to and thrive off of. Is that fair as you as actors, and is that fair of us to expect that from you?
Wow. Question.
I asked a good question, didn't I?
Well, you got a doctorate.
That's a heavy question. Here comes the heavy answer. Uh-oh.
This is true, because I can't, the latter part of your question, I don't know that I'd ever be able to begin to enter, into an answer, but this, is what I discovered long ago, but that, and I've said it often in many ways, that the power and indeed the glory of this we call Star Trek resides in you. There's power. That's what makes it make sense. Scott talked about, the reward. The reward in the engaging in the exchange. But indeed, without you, then this moment, as he talked about, doesn't happen. And therefore, I am not fooled to believe that although I'm a part of something that is enormous and has been going on for decades, I know where the power is, and it's in you. Woo!
In a way, we are the custodians, in that we have a history that you don't have, of the actual making and the writing and the definition of Star Trek. So we are, in that way, custodians, and it's these documentaries that I've been making, and I'm attempting to make a third on the next generation, are by way of saying, this is what I think happened, spoken from the mouths of the people who were there. And it is the mutuality of meeting like this, with you asking questions and us trying our best to answer the question, sometimes lightheartedly and sometimes with deeper meaning, to sustain this ritual that we go through here. We're doing our mythological best right now. We are in a process of renewing ourselves and renewing Star Trek and renewing the message of Star Trek every time we meet. So we will meet again, and we'll have other things to say, and you'll have other questions to ask, and we will do our best as custodians to have this interchange.
Like I've always said, I wanted to be on his ship.
400 years ago, Shakespeare wrote for the masses. Star Trek in the 20th century, of course, is the equivalent in terms of popular entertainment. Back then, only the words could survive because the media only allowed the words and not the performances. Thanks to the 20th century, technological developments, we can now carry on throughout history, not just the words, but also the performances. Now, Shakespeare is endowed with a degree of immortality because of that. And each of you is now endowed with that same immortality. Just as 400 years later, we still remember Shakespeare. 400 years from now, we're going to remember William Shatner, Avery Brooks, Jonathan Archer, Scott Bakula, Captain Kirk. Anything you look at, you're going to be remembered 400 years from now. Because Star Trek is, despite what the naysayers will claim, Star Trek's not dead, it's not going to die. It's going to be alive a long time. Do you ever reflect on that immortality that you've gained and will possess throughout history? And how do you react to it when you think about it?
Some heavy questions.
Avery will answer that.
What did you say? Be careful what you wish for.
I thought we should have closed with my last speech.
I'm sorry. I've got to get to the redhead. I'm sorry. I got to give her a chance. So she'll be the last one.
All right, my question goes to Mr. Shatner. Me and all my sisters love enjoying the show. We all flew down here from Canada to see you. And many times...
From Windsor?
No,
It's across the bridge,
Newfoundland. It's often left off the map. This is my big question because I've always wondered this while we're watching the show and enjoying it. I mean, you look at an episode like Plato's Stepchildren. You're being ridden like a pony, slapping yourself in the face. And, or you look at something like The Voyage Home. You guys on the bus, putting the rocker to sleep. I mean, you guys must have just busted out at some point. You know, you guys must have just looked at each other, said, "What are we doing?" You know, wrestling with the bat or the gourd. Would you share some of the moments with us where you guys just roared? What episodes did you guys find trouble getting through?
Every single one. Thank you, and good night.